One of the things I've been really disappointed in the last several decades is the devolution of civil discourse and, frankly, the removal of United States Senators' decision to provide what I believe is the appropriate role of advice and consent. So, in our form of government, the president has the privilege to nominate his cabinet. And the role of cabinet members in the United States government is to faithfully execute and implement the law that Congress passes, and to, of course, uphold and, in the case of the Attorney General, defend and sometimes prosecute violation of these laws and the Constitution. But what's happened in the last decade or so is that members of both political parties have chosen to focus on the personal political opinions of nominees, instead of focusing on what I believe is our duty, which is to provide advice and consent to the president for his nominees. So my approach to considering the nominations that the president sends to the United States Senate are several-fold, and they are different than the approach that I know many of my colleagues have taken. And that's why I'm grateful to have the opportunity to talk about them. First, I think it's our job as senators to determine whether or not the person who's been nominated is professionally qualified for the position. In this case, Mr. Barr is professionally qualified. As we know, he previously served as the Attorney General under President George H.W. Bush and was confirmed, in fact, unanimously by a voice vote in 1993. The second thing to consider is whether or not this individual, particularly in the case of agency nominations for cabinet secretaries, is to determine whether or not this person believes in the mission of the agency which he or she is being nominated to represent and to faithfully execute the laws under that jurisdiction. And I believe that Mr. Barr, based on my conversations with him and his testimony in public hearings, believes in the mission of the Department of Justice. And the third thing I think that a senator should consider is whether or not this individual can be trusted to faithfully execute, implement these laws, and, when needed, to prosecute violations of these laws in the case of the Attorney General. And I listened carefully to Mr. Barr's public hearings and had an opportunity to interview him privately. And I feel satisfied that he believes in faithfully executing the laws of our country and will defend not only federal law, but also defend our Constitution against any threats to it.